Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's webinar. My name is Rachel Klein, and I will be your presenter here for the next 20 minutes. Today, we are going to be talking about entering attendance in the membership module. One of the great features about entering attendance is that it is pretty slick, it's pretty useful, pretty handy, and it's pretty fast too, actually. So I'll show you how to do that, how to enter attendance for events, also any groups and classes that you might have set up. I will be showing you that as well. The information that I am following today for the presentation is from one of our workbooks. It's from the Membership 202 workbook, and it's pages 2 through 12. So if you have that workbook and want to follow along, please feel free to do so, or you can head out to our website, churchwindows.com, and go under training, and there's the place where you can purchase the training workbooks if you feel like you would like to do that. I am recording this webinar as I do all the other ones. I'll get it cleaned up and put it up on the website by the end of the day today. So if you want to rewatch this or share it with someone else, again, head out to churchwindows.com and go to our support center, and you'll be able to rewatch this anytime you wish. Let's see, questions. If you have any questions, please feel free to type those in. Josh might be jumping on later. I think he's on a call to help with questions. But feel free to type them in on the question section on the GoToWebinar toolbar. I won't answer them until the end of the webinar, but feel free to type them in, and I will get to them once I've finished the topic for today. Okay. I am fighting a little bit of a sinus infection, so if I sound a little unusual today, that's why, so bear with me. All right, let's get started here. Entering attendance. I'm going to go ahead and open up membership. And then in membership, right up at the top, you have your attendance option up here. Then I'm going to click on attendance entry. So a little bit of an overview I want to give you first. To track attendance, you're going to have your events set up, and you're going to have groups and classes if you want to track attendance for different groups and classes that you have. The biggest difference between events and groups and classes is that groups and classes, when they're set up, you have to assign people to those groups and classes. Okay? Events, that means anybody you have in the database, you are able to mark them as attended. You don't have to assign them to an event. It already includes everybody. Okay? So events are going to be typically Sunday worship or any type of event that anybody is able to attend to. Okay? Again, groups and classes, once you set those up, you assign people to those groups and classes, which I think I did that webinar last month. So if you need help with setting up groups and classes or assigning people, head out to the support center. There's 2 videos out there on that you can watch. But then at this point, once that is set up, how do we mark that people have attended or they've been involved in a specific group? And once you mark those people as attended, then you can go back and run lots of really good reports. You can get averages, you can see someone's specific attendance history if you want to. You can look at trends, all kinds of things, a lot of different reports that we have available for attendance. Okay. So let's start with the 2 ways you are able to track attendance in membership. You can track it by a people count only option, or you can track it by name. Okay, so the people count only option is really for if, say, someone goes around the church and just counts how many people are present. Okay, so you don't track specifically who was there by individual, but you're going to get a total count for how many people came. Say 100 people show up at worship. Okay, so that's option 1. Second option is going to be your attendance by name. So my church growing up, we had little cards in the pews and a little pencil. You would scratch down who was there in your family, and then you would drop it in a little plate or the offering plate. And that is how you could then go through and track who specifically was there person by person when you go to put your attendance in. Okay. Obviously, the people counted only, you aren't going to get those individualized attendance reports. If you just do the people count only, you're still going to be able to get a report of how many people came to what worship service and get an average. But again, you're not going to be able to get the individualized information that you might be looking for. Okay. So let me show you first how to manipulate the screen and then how to do the two options. So right when attendance entry opens, right here at the top left, you have an option for events, groups, and classes, okay? If you're just working with events, I would suggest unchecking groups and classes. If you don't, when you come down to this second drop box here to select your event or group or class, you're going to see everything that you've ever set up, okay? Noting this column is going to have a check mark in it if it's a specific event, so you know which is which. Now, you can also come in here and uncheck group and class, just leaving events checked, and then you're only going to see your events listed. All right. So it just depends on how big your church is, how many groups and classes you have set up. It might be a little easier to jump right to what you need if you uncheck this, or vice versa. Okay. This is also a search box, so you can type in the specific event or group and class you're looking for just by starting to type the name right here in the box, and then you make your match. Okay. If you need to set up a new group or class for entering attendance on, you can hit this little green plus sign, and that will take you into the setup events or the setup groups classes screen, where you can then on the fly create a new event or group and class if you need to. Okay. Now, once you select the thing that you're wanting to track attendance for, you have to come over here and put in a date. So this is going to be the date the event occurred. You can hit the down arrow and you can pick from the calendar that popped up, or you can simply type it in without any dashes or slashes using 8 characters. It's up to you. Do notice if you have event tracked for this date already, it's going to show up in green. So if we look here on May 2nd, I did put in some attendance to show you that you can quickly see, all right, I did last Sunday. I need to do the 9th now. Okay. So as soon as you pick the date, the rest of the screen is going to unlock and become active, allowing you to put in your attendance information. Now, the attendance by people count only is really simple. You just click in this people counted box and you type in how many people were counted for your worship service. Okay. You do have the option to put in an amount collected if you want. You don't have to. If you use the donations counting modules, putting something in here isn't going to affect anything that you've done over in donations or accounting. It's strictly just going to give you a total amount collected that will appear on a attendance report. You do have an option to go in here and get some details in there if you wish. You don't have to, but you can put in how many people in this first column that came, depending on which category they fall in, and then you can also add up your giving here as well. Separate it out. So if you really want to get specific for where the money came from, you can do that using this details section. But if all you're worrying about is the people counted, put your event in, put your date in, fill in this people counted box, and then you can close out because that information is stored. All right. So that's very simple for the people counted option. Now, most people I talk to really like the attendance by person. It gives them more flexibility for their dates. So let's choose Sunday AM worship this time. And we no longer have the green because now we're on a different event. The other one was contemporary, okay? Now we're doing Sunday worship, so I'm going to put the 9th in there. I'm going to completely skip over this people counted, amount collected section, and I'm going to come down here to my list of all my people. So you can see that we have a total amount, so how many records we have here on this potential attendees tab. As you go through and start checking people, you can see this tab is going to change, showing us who's present and who isn't. Okay. Couple tricks on this screen. If I go down to the Bernard family here, Eric. If I check Eric, let's say Eric's entire family was there. They were present. You can simply check the first person in the family, hover over that same box, do a right click, and then you can go into check present for entire family. Once you check that, everybody else in Eric Bernard's household is going to have a check mark. That's a really nice time saver to have that right click and then check the entire family. All right. Now, something else too, you have a communion column here. If you check that someone communed, it's automatically going to check that they were present as well. So let me show you that example. Let's go down here to Joanne. If I check Joanne as communed, Look over here to the left, the present box is automatically checked. All right. Same thing with the right clicks. Now, a lot of people like to just use their keyboard in here. They don't want to use their mouse. They want to go fast. You do have the option. Right now I'm using my arrow keys on my keyboard. And then you can hit your space bar, and that's going to put a check in for you as well. Another little shortcut to help speed up this process. So arrow keys, space bar, okay? Now, let's talk about some other options on this screen. Let me get to the right page here, guys. All right, let's go over to the right here under options. There's going to be some attendance options in here available for you to customize for what fits best for your church or organization. Tracking communion. You can specify if you want to track communion for events and for groups and classes. Okay, so if we don't need to track communion for any groups or classes because they're not communing, then you can simply uncheck that track communion for groups, classes. And then that communion column back here, we're only going to see for your events, your worship services. Okay. Excused absence tracking. If that's something you want to track, if someone is excused for that group or class for whatever it might be, maybe you just want to track it for groups and classes and not for events. You have the option there to uncheck that as well. Okay. Here's the sort order. You can decide what order these people appear in. Do you want to just see strictly last name, first name, alphabetical list? Do you want the family members to be grouped together? You can do that. Or you have this last option for family name, last name, and then first name as well. So it's really up to you how you want those people to be grouped together when you go to do attendance entry. Again, it's just another option to try to save you some time for getting all your people entered. Top right, you have the option to relabel fields. So let's say you want to change communion to communed. You could simply click in here and change that label, and then the column header is going to look different. Just some more customizing options for you. All right, so back here on this screen, what I just showed you was how to track attendance for an event. Now let's talk about tracking attendance for a group or class, because it is going to look a little different. So if we look down here for an event, we see that we have a potential attendees tab, and then we just have a comments tab, which I'll show you in a minute. But if we go up here and we switch to a group or class, down here at the bottom, we're only going to see the people that are in that specific group or class on this enrolled tab here, this first tab. So that's going to be one of the biggest differences that you're going to see between an event and group or class when entering attendance. Now you also have a non-enrolled tab. So you can check people as present to a class that they're not enrolled in if you wish, okay? And if you decide on the fly you do want to enroll them in that group or class, you have an enroll column over here that will then add this specific person into your 3rd and 4th grade Sunday school class or whatever class you have here up at the top. That's going to be one of the biggest differences about tracking attendance for either an event or a group or class. All right, now some of you might be wondering what these columns are over here. There's an A, an F, and an S. So these are going to be extra things, extra information that you can track that is only specific for a group or class. And I did go over setting up this additional information in a previous webinar, but I do want to point it out to you today because I think it's important. So when you set up a group or class, you have the option to track additional information for that specific group or class. Maybe you want to track if someone brought a friend, if they brought their Bible, if they were if they participated well, whatever those different things might be that you want to track as part of a specific group or class, you create those when you set it up, and then these options are now going to be available for you when entering attendance. So let me show you that quickly here. Up under groups and skills, and then down to set up groups here. Let's go back to that 3rd and 4th grade class because that's what we're working with. Over here on the right, when you set it up, you have the option to track those additional information fields. This is where you can create those using the plus minus here, And then you put in this little box here, you select which additional codes you want to track. Okay, so we're tracking if they participated well, if they brought a friend, and if they studied the lesson plan. Okay, and then when you go to enter that attendance for those people that were present, you can then specify if they did any of those things. And then you can get it on a report as well. So that's the additional information. That's what these extra columns here mean for you. All right, another thing that's really helpful for entering attendance. Let's jump back. Actually, I'm going to check a couple of these so we have a reference here. Let's jump back to our worship service that we were talking about, our contemporary. Oh, no, it wasn't. It was Sunday AM. On here, let's say you're entering someone and you type in their name. I'm just going to do it myself. And they don't come up. Okay, so you have attendance for someone that you need to track, but they're not in your database. It's inevitably going to happen at some point, okay? You can type that person's name in here, and we see our search results. We don't have any because this person doesn't exist. We're going to come over here to the right, and we're going to hit the plus sign, and this is going to allow us to add this person on the fly while we're entering attendance, okay? And this is just your simple add a membership individual person that you would see if you were in People and you were adding a new family. So I got to put in the category, their mailing label. If you know your address, you can put that in right here with the plus sign, their phone number, any other information you might have on them, but you do need to then make sure the information on the right is filled out, which is for the individual. Pop in their directory report or a primary because this is the only person in the household. And then you can either hit add to put another person, so I can put my husband and my kids in here as well. Or you could just say you only want to put this one individual in and hit close. And now I'm in the list. I didn't put an address in, but now I'm marked as present. So that is a quick way to add someone who doesn't exist in your database while you're entering attendance. Okay. Now, something that stands out on this screen is that there is no save button. Okay, so keep that in mind as you go through the list and as you make changes in this screen. It's going to automatically update for you. So you don't have that green check mark with the save button. It's going to automatically save. So I can go through and I can check a bunch of people here. Now once I get that checked, I can just close and it'll automatically save it for me. Or I can switch to a different event. So if I have a bunch of different groups and classes that I need to put in, like all my Sunday school classes for last Sunday, for example, I could do pick one, enter my date, check everyone that was present, come back up to the top, pick a different group or class, leaving the date as is. Those different kids will show up, and then I will check through, and then I can just simply close out. So there is no save. As you click and update the screen and change things, it's automatically going to save for you. All right. Okay, let me look back through my notes and make sure I didn't miss anything here. I did jump around a little bit on you guys there. Oh, something really handy about this screen. I'm going to close out and reopen it for you. I'm going to choose my Sunday AM worship again. Next to your date field, you have a down arrow, an X, and then this little dot, dot, dot button. If you hit that little dot, dot, dot button, it's going to show you all the dates that you've actually entered attendance for, which is really handy. You can also jump back to different years. So if we jump all the way back to 2019, this is just sample data, guys, but you can see all the different dates that attendance has been entered. And then you can just click the date, pick it, and then it's going to pull up that attendance information. It allows you to make changes if you wish. You can update other information, but this is, excuse me, a really handy way to be able to go in and see when you've put attendance in. So if you missed it for the last couple of weeks, you need to go back and put it in, hit that little dot, 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 and you'll be able to see right where you left off, okay? Along with the down arrow in the calendar, it's also going to show you those green dates where you did, in fact, enter attendance, all right? Now, you can print from here if you wish. Let's jump back to current period here. You can print, you can run a report for people, you can put labels for people, you can do email, or you can do a summary by event report. If I select that, it's already going to have my date range in there. It's already going to have my event checked. And then if I hit print, it's going to give me that summary by event report. So once you get your attendance in, say you want to print out a report right after, you can print right from this screen as well. Pretty handy report.